I've never seen such an arrogant student. On the first day of the new teacher's class, they openly proposed to skip the class. Before the teacher could make a statement, they got up and left. This teacher is famous for violence. Just because someone laughed when he was talking, a nail hit his face. But this time, he didn't lose his temper. Because of the many violent teaching incidents, his reputation has been ruined in the industry. No school dared to hire him. He had no choice but to come to this poor school. McFarland, as long as there is no mistake here, he can retire safely. However, on the way to school that day, he changed his mind. He found that Thomas ran very fast in the class. He didn't go up to disturb, but drove by and watched quietly. He followed all the way down and found that Thomas was not only fast, but also very patient. In less than 5 minutes, he ran 1.6 kilometers away. He was curious to ask how Thomas did it. Thomas explained that he had to go home to work every day after school. Because there was no car in the house, he could only run forward. It's been like this for a long time, and there's nothing to show off, because all the kids here can run at this speed. When he heard this, he felt like he had found a treasure. With his grades, he will definitely be in the top 10 in the GUIA bidding competition. If he can form a band at school and make some achievements, he can use this as a stepping stone to return to the city. The next day, he told this idea to the principal. However, the principal was not interested. When Thomas said that there was a huge bonus in the GUIA bidding competition, the principal directly agreed. The next step is to choose players. Thomas bought 4 bottles of ice and water. He told them that the top 4 could get it. The kids here are very poor. Water has absolute temptation to them. In order to get water, they ran very fast one by one. Soon, White formed a team of 7 people. When he was training, he found that they didn't even have a pair of decent shoes. After a period of training, they won the first invitation game. To encourage them, White bought them clothes and shoes from Teoyabeo. Before the game started, they were laughed at by their opponents. You also come to the GUIA bidding competition. Don't you all run when the police are chasing you? This made the players angry. I wanted to teach them a lesson on the field. At the beginning, I tried my best to speed up and run forward. We know that the most important thing in long-distance running is physical distribution. If you run too fast in the front, you can't catch up in the back. When they were on the slope, they were all surpassed. In the end, they won the first place. All the players were discouraged. White didn't blame or scold. He blamed himself for all the responsibilities. He blamed himself for not doing his homework in advance. He didn't know that there was an uphill and downhill in the GUIA bidding competition. Because McFarland didn't have a hill, they ran as a group of newcomers. Although the training was very hard and tiring, their progress was also obvious. Not long after, they won a confrontation. The opponent was very good and ranked very high. But with the experience of the last time, they were very calm this time. They didn't sprint, but just followed the opponent. In the last half of the lap, Thomas suddenly accelerated and surpassed the opponent. Before the finish line, then the players behind also completed the overtaking one by one. Although they won the game, they made a mistake during the training again. 7 players suddenly lost 3. Turned out to be the harvest season. All 3 of them went to work in the field. White found the child's parents. The parents told him, "Your training is like my TV. It's not a necessity for our family. In your training for an hour, I will lose an hour's worker." White didn't say anything and turned around and left. The next day, White got on their working car. For the children to have time to go to class, the PE teacher took the initiative to help work in the field, but he couldn't stand it at all. He only worked for less than half a day and was so tired that he couldn't stand up. However, he did not give up. He endured the pain and persisted in the field every day. At this time, White finally realized the students' misfortune. He planned to adjust the training time in the future and train without affecting their work. In the end, they were moved by White's sincerity. Gradually, the children's hearts were also changing on this day. The teacher found White with the children's essays. We fly like blackbirds through the orange groves floating on a warm wind. When we run, we own the earth. The land is ours. We speak the birds' language. Not immigrants no more. Not stupid Mexicans. When we run, our spirits fly. We speak to the gods. When we run, we are the gods. The teacher was very moved. He had already changed the children's hearts. Next was the boring training day after day. This time, White had made a deal with the children. Not long after, they won another critical match. If they can advance successfully this time, they will be inspired by the university. Their fate will also change because of this. The children can't wait to tell their parents this good news. Some people got their parents, understanding and support, and some people got the opposition. School? Yes. You know what? Get your face out of those books. They will blind your eyes. No one needs a book in the field. At this time, the team was already famous in the town. On the day of the start of the game, some children sent them off on their own. This is the honor they have never had. White told the children on the way that as long as they can advance to the top 4, they can advance. Fatty looked at the mountains far away and was very nervous. White told them, you run very painfully, but your players are the same. Which player can hold on to the past and win? Look at the people around them. They ask themselves, I still trust you more. Facing the opponent's mockery, Thomas was no longer angry, but chose to smile and look back. After the gunshot, the game officially began. After such a long time of training, they have adapted to various terrains. At this time, climbing has become their strength. In the climbing section, they left their opponents behind one by one. Thomas has also been in the lead. It may be the influence of father's conversation last night. He fell near the finish line. Although he quickly climbed up and ran straight, he still failed to get the first place. Coaches couldn't help shaking their heads. The players behind were very close. Can you advance? It looks a bit dangerous. The teams that succeeded in advancing were all cheering. The players began to get nervous. The coach reminded them to stay calm. Fortunately, they got the 4th place, which is the last place to advance. Look at that. Look at that. You did it. In order to reward them for winning the game, White plans to take them to a place they have never been to. The coach took the kids to a scenic spot. He turned over less than half of all the money on his body. He asked the security guard if he could give him a discount. They just won a game from McFarland. The kids have never seen the sea before. The security guard looked at the innocent kids in the car and made a decision. Keep it. Thanks. All the players were born in a poor family. They have never left their small town. Looking at the vast sea in front of them, the players were all stunned. They stood still for a long time. Don't go on. Get in there. The players just reacted. They rushed over like wild horses. They laughed and cried in the sea. They celebrated the unexpected victory. After the news of victory was sent back to the town, they became famous all over the town. Then came the last game, the state championship. All the players were very excited. All the people in the town came to see them off. All the shops in the town were closed for a day. A huge car team escorted them. White cheered them on. All the teams here are well known, but they're not as hard as you are. They don't have to work in the fields after class every day. They don't have to train more than 10 kilometers after farming. They can't imagine how hard you are. You are all superhumans. The hard work you put up with is to come here and fight. People like you deserve the honor. McFarland used to be laughed at by everyone. Now it's different. They shouted slogans together. Uno, dos, tres. McFarland. After the slogan, the game officially began. Hashi may be eager to win. He chose to speed up at the beginning. Soon he was out of energy. He was overtaken by other players one by one. Because the game was a team final, he slowed down. Others had to try to catch up. At the last moment, the opponent suddenly chose to speed up. Thomas had to try his best to run. At the last moment, he was overtaken again. Then other players rushed over. But Hashi was nowhere to be seen. He was 1 minute slower than usual. When the coach thought he had no chance of winning, something incredible happened. Xiaopeng, who had been training all the time, rushed over. At the last stage, he kept speeding. Xiaopeng broke the limit and got the 5th place. The coach excitedly patted Xiaopeng's shoulder. Where did you come from? Where did you come from? From McFarland Coast. Because the Scores of each team were very close. The referee confirmed it again and again and then announced it. The movie McFarland ended here. The movie changed according to the real event. After the game, all 7 players successfully entered the university. After graduation, some became coaches, some became police officers, some became teachers, and some became journalists. Although they didn't have much work, they had surpassed most people in the town. Whenever they had time, they would go back to McFarland to train with the students. After the game, the coach got a chance to go back to the city, but he didn't choose to leave. He took over McFarland for 14 years until he retired. During this time, he brought out the 9-time champion and successfully sent more than 100 students to college. Without further ado, I'm going to run in the field. Okay, I am Shark. Looking forward to meeting you next time.